ahead and create a multi-view drawing with. So you get this. We're in the tutorial tab. Click on the drawing, click OK, and it will open this. Just choose anything. We'll change it in a little bit once we get it open. So we've got a drawing open here. So the first thing we want to do is go in and look at some of the properties. So you can go under options up here. Okay, and there's different things up here. You can do different display style, make sure your hidden lines are visible, which is what we want. You can go into document properties. We're going to switch this over to ANSI so we can have inches and things. So you can see now our units are all in inches. We can mess around with different things here in the document properties as far as units and things of that nature. Now this is a very large sheet of paper, a little title block down here. We can actually change that simply by right clicking over here on my sheet and going under properties here. Then it'll open up this, and I've got these different ANSI size papers. We'll do B, which is 11 by 17. Okay, I can change the scale if I want. Maybe I'll do a 1 by 1. Okay, we'll see what happens on that, but you can mess around with that. All sorts of things there, so we can mess around with getting the size of our paper that I want. That didn't seem to work. Let me go back in really quickly. Properties, B, click OK. There we go. Okay, so we'll zoom to all so you can see. Okay, so here's my sheet net right here. So now I can start adding my views, and the way that I like to do it is through this view palette task bar over here. So I can open up that, and here you can see all of your views. So this is actually the view I want as my front view. So I left click and I grab it and bring it over and place it. Then if I just move straight above it, I can put in the top view just like that. I can hit the escape key and there they are placed. Okay, and I can always click on these and make different changes to different properties here. I can also click and move, and clearly they're going to move together to keep them all lined up and things of that nature. I can also include an isometric view if I prefer, just by grabbing the view and dumping that in there as well. Now that's a little larger than I want. It's also got the hidden lines on it, so let me mess around a little bit with the scale. So I'm going to use a custom scale, and I'll just use like a user defined, and I'll do like a 3/4 scale here. Okay, so make that a little smaller. I also want to get rid of my hidden lines here, so we'll remove the hidden lines, and there you have it. So now I've got my views right on there as shown. Okay, now I want to place my dimensions. Okay, so I need to bring up a toolbar, and there's lots of toolbars. I can just right click up here anyway, and you can see I'm going to bring up annotation, but other ones that you might like to do are like a drawing toolbar that can help place some views and things like that. Sketching toolbar if you have to draw anything on there. But I'm just going to bring up the annotation, bring it up over here on the left corner here, and then I can just go into Smart Dimension. Okay, and I can just start dimensioning. So for example, I can dimension between these two guys here, place my dimension right there, or I can select my radius or the height of this line, all these different things that I can go ahead and go in and dimension there. Okay, some other things that we may want to add, things like center marks. So I can click on center mark right over here, select my circle. Now the default is it'll put the lines in there, which sometimes is useful. However, when I only have a semicircle, it's not. You can remove those center those extend lines just by over here unclicking that extended lines, and they'll just put the little mark in there like so. Okay. The other thing I need to add are the center lines. Although before I do that, I want to get rid of these. These are tangent lines, and then the default is to have them there. We don't want them there, so we're going to right click on that view and go to tangent edge, and then just say tangent edges removed, and it'll take those off. And I can do the same thing up in my isometric view just by right clicking, going to tangent edge, remove, just like that. Now I can add my center lines. Okay, just by clicking here, and then basically you click between the two lines. You want to put the center line between, like so. Click and click, and click and click, and there we have all of our center lines put in there. Okay, so we've got those. The other thing that you can add is like a note. So for example, if you want to put in a little note about fillets or what have you, you can put something like all fillets, have a radius of 1/4 inch or whatever. And of course, if you don't like the size, you can always highlight it and then quickly change, the size to something bigger if you so desire. You can put a note in that way. Okay, so there's the basics of that. Now let's talk about the title block here. Let me zoom in a little bit on it so you get a better idea of what we're looking at. There we go. Okay, so here's our title block. Okay, now we can make changes in here. The easiest way to do it is you have to start by right-clicking and do Edit Sheet Format, at which point it makes it so I can edit some of these things. So, for example, if you've got tolerances and things, I just double-click over here, okay, and it'll, there we go. Let me, I can change in, different things, however I want to do it, change text size and things of that nature. Now, if I want to do something else, some of these boxes are, let me escape out of that, so for example, you see how I roll over, the little A comes up and it says, hey, this is my company name. So I can actually add specific things, or like this is drawn by, or this is, right in the center, this is description. So if you want to change those, I can go into, I believe it's file properties, there it is. Okay, and I go under here and I could do things like go into company name, there it is, and I could put in something like University of Wisconsin or whatever, and click OK, and now you'll see that it'll put it in there, and I can fill in the different parts just by choosing the appropriate thing. And again, to find where those are, it's just under properties under here. Okay, so you can do things like that. Now notice when I go back, my drawings aren't there. All you need to do to get back to that is right click and go back into Edit Sheet, and things will come out, because remember we had to do the edit format to get in kind of where to fix the title block. Now the other cool thing here is I'm going to head back over to the drawing here. Okay, so here's the original solid model. Okay, what I can do is I can change a dimension in here. So for example, I could change this dimension to 0.75. Okay. Then if you need to, you can always click on rebuild to open it up if you need to. Okay. The cool thing is it automatically will update it over in this sheet, and you can see that I've got my hole that's much bigger. I could actually place it. So what's nice is if you change it one place, it will fix it everywhere. Okay, which is pretty nice to us. So that's how the basics of creating a multi-view drawing in SolidWorks.